Welcome to another episode of News Dash, where two full-time realtors become part-time newscasters. So welcome back after the long National Day weekend. We hope that you guys had a good break. And as we enter into the 7th month, we started seeing people like burning incense already. So how does the 7th month actually affect real estate coming in?
Okay. So the 7th month really affects real estate, right? Because agents like us who got signers
we
find it very hard
on the aircon 24/7.
Yeah, because jokes aside, for our international viewers, 7th month is like the Hungry Ghost Festival. Yeah. So during this season, a lot of people actually choose not to view or buy houses. Yeah, so it's a bit quiet on the viewing side, but still moving actually. Yeah.
So people, I think they choose not to transact properties during this period due to some religious beliefs, which then we will start seeing a slight slowdown in viewings as well as in transactions-wise during this period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to our news stash of the week. And the first news that we have coming up will be
weekend slips for new launches. Yes, so 3 new launches launched over the weekend, right? And this is on 12th and 13th August. The 3 projects are at Mount Orchard Sophia, TMW Maxwell, and the Arden. Yeah, so what's really interesting is all 3 launches are in different regions in Singapore.
Yes, you have the OCR, RCR, as well as the CCR.
Yes. So in total, right, the total number of units that were sold in the 3 weekends, you guess how many?
I have the script. but maybe you guys can guess before we reveal the answer.
Yes. Okay. Guess in your mind how many were sold over the past weekend.
And then we review it in 3, 2, 1.
53 units.
Over 3 developments.
Yes. And in total, there are about, let's calculate 3, 2, 4, about 500 plus units being sold.
To be fair, 2 of them are kind of small developments, with Orchard Sophia being 78 units and the Arden being 105 units. So TFW Maxwell was 324 units, which is a mid-sized development.
But let's not forget, right? In July, there were 9 new launches, right? And this gives buyers a lot of choice in the market right now.
Definitely.
Yeah, so this is something we call like choice paralysis, right?
You don't know which to choose.
Yeah.
So many it's like in front of you.
Yes. Imagine going to, I don't know, have you been to the new Taiwan night market at Cine Leisure?
No, I haven't.
I just went there yesterday.
How was it?
So it's like a Taiwanese, like in Taiwan, you have your night market, right? What do you call it in Chinese?
夜市.
Yeah, sure, that's right. Yeah, so these are legit like stallholders from Taiwan that you bring over.
They fly them over.
Yeah. And so when I was there were like, I don't know, 20 stalls. And there was like, for me, choice paralysis.
You just want to try every single thing.
I only had like 1 hour.
And you only one stomach.
Yes. I only had 1 hour to eat, but I spent like half an hour thinking. Yeah. And I overbought.
Yeah, so it's also like a concern that, people on the ground are bringing up, hey, why are units moving slower right now for new launches? Is it does it mean that the market is kind of slowing down and potentially deeping? So this is some of the concerns that clients may have on the ground.
Aside from too many choices, right? Let's not forget it was actually a National Day weekend.
Yeah,
and a lot of my clients were actually overseas. Like I tried to arrange viewings or that, right? I cannot because everyone says they're overseas. Even though public holiday was on Thursday, Friday is technically a working day, but a lot of people choose to like take leave.
Yes, they have a long weekend. They can go overseas for a short trip.
Yeah, so let's remember the number of choices in the market, National Day weekend, and furthermore is coming up the 7th month.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the next news that we have, kind of the opposite of what we're looking at. So people say that, sales are kind of slowing down, but we're actually seeing that the new launch sales actually surged to the highest since November 2021. And this was just in July itself.
Yes. So July's number, right? 1,412 units were sold in July. And this is the highest it's ever been since November 2021, right? Let's compare this to June. In June, 278 units were sold. Then moving to July, 1,412 units. And this is something we predicted because at the time when we said that June's numbers were low, right? We had said it's because actually there's not much choice in the market.
Yeah.
But now there's After nine launches in July.
And I think at that time, there were a lot of anticipated launches or developments that people were looking at, like Grand Diamond, Lentor Hills, Pine Tree. So these were developments that bigger developments where people are more inclined to enter in.
Yes. So the 4 projects that accounted for most of the sales, right? In fact, 82.1%. It was Grand Diamond, Lentor Hills, right? Pine Tree Hill, my favorite, and The Mist. Not so much my favorite, even though same area. Yeah. So in the same time last year, in July 2022, 408 units or so. Yeah. So definitely it's a big jump.
Yeah.
Right. And in people who were hoping that, prices may be coming down because not much viewings over the weekend. Actually, that's still not true lah.
Maybe because of the 7th month. It may be slow, but we do expect it to pick up once the season is over.
Yeah. So despite the 7th month, right, developers are actually choosing to launch 5 more new launches. Coming up. Akan datang. Yeah. So to find out more, continue to watch News Dash and our investment series. Yeah, which we will go through most of them lah.
Yeah.
At least the profitable ones. Yeah.
Hey, so let's move on to our next news. WeWork facing bankruptcy. So we can share with the viewers. I think most of them should be familiar what WeWork is, but if they don't, what is WeWork?
Okay, so WeWork, right, is an American company, I believe. We started with one of the front runners in the co-working space.
Yeah.
And of course, this became a very popular concept during the whole pandemics.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of officers thought, it's good, they were getting used to the employees working from home.
Yeah.
Right? But they still needed meetings. They still needed a place for the employees to work at their own location, right? So they don't need to come down all the way to the office.
Yes.
So WeWork provided like this
short-term kind of solutions to people who needed a space but didn't want to commit long-term, whether it's a 1 year or 2 year tenancy agreement, and the cost of a proper actual office. Yeah, so it gives a flexibility to, people who are just starting out or maybe like entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So WeWork has actually been seeing losses during this time and negative cash flow, right? And this is because a lot of their members are not renewing. They are not seeing new memberships coming in. And it started to get a bit tough for them because they had a big boom during the whole COVID season, right? And now, once valued at $40 billion, right? Now, their stock price dropped to just less than $1.
I think because pandemic has also shown the flexibility as well as the convenience of, online meetings like Zoom. So even though, people may not be working at the same place, it's very convenient right now for them to just, hop on a Zoom call. It's like instantaneous.
Yeah.
And it's very time saving because you don't have to travel. Even a lot of our investment consultations are all done over Zoom because to save our clients time also, they don't have to travel to meet us also.
Yeah, that's right. But why it isn't working for a lot of companies nowadays, right? It's like they decide to feel the long-term effects of not working together in an office. And even us as agents, even though we can work by ourselves or work alone at home, we have an office.
Yeah.
Right. And
I guess the good point is that, our office provides you the space to interact. And for, I guess, people who use WeWork, if you are, new business owners, you then have an environment of other new business owners. So it's a place for you to also network and exchange ideas in that sense.
Yes, but for bigger companies, right? For bigger companies where they need their employees to come to work, not for meetings, but also to build that camaraderie between their employees and build that, I don't know what's the name called. How you feel at home in the company?
It's called the rah-rah effect.
Rah-rah.
They need everybody to rah-rah together.
One of my best friends, right? She works at a major foreign bank, right? Her interview was on Zoom. The first day she went to the office, nobody was there. She just went to the HR office.
Everybody got used to working from home.
Yeah, she went to the office, take the pass, and then she also was asked to go home. She wasn't even assigned a table. Right. And then now she's working there for 6 months and she's not met a single colleague.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it really depends person to person. Everybody have their preferences on whether they like office. So maybe you can leave us a comment. Are you someone who's a E who loves to go to the office, or I who just prefers to hide at home?
I think another thing that plays a part, right, is how neat do we keep the office? Grace is laughing because the messy. Grace is laughing because the messy one in the office is her.
No, not true. Got a photo of my neat desk over here.
But if you can imagine, right, going to a co-working space, you have, say you paid the more premium subscription where you have a permanent desk, but all around you are mostly strangers, all different types of people. Right? Everyone got a different style.
Yeah.
Yet they're not close enough to tell them, hey, can you please clean up your table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to personal preference really. Okay, so let's head on to our next news, the start of China's Evergrande's recovery.
Yes. So the fall of one giant, right? WeWork.
That cost a lot. Yeah.
The fall of one giant WeWork and
the recovery.
The recovery, right?
Potential recovery.
Like a phoenix rising out of the ashes. Yeah. Evergrande. If you remember, it's been a while since we heard this name.
Yes.
But Evergrande arguably was one of the triggers which caused the whole Chinese
property scene to kind of decline.
Yes. And they're still in the recovery of that, right?
Yeah.
And for the longest time, it's quite amazing actually that they even like collapse all the way. And I think this is something that like they're too big to they're too big to fail.
And I think at that time, Singapore was also not directly affected by the crisis. When investigations were actually going on, Singapore's banks did declare that, they are that they didn't have any existing loans or grants with the company itself. So
Evergrande owns approximately about 300 billion US dollars, right? Which they are still trying ways and means to pay back that debt. Right. And so China Grand is not just in property, right? They're in the EV market as well, right? Electric cars. And their EV arm, so China Grand and EV, when they announced their repayment policy, right? Which is it's a new share sales of about 500 million in their to a Dubai-based mobility firm, right? After this news was launched, their share price spiked 50%.
Wow.
50%. And do you know how much their share price is actually worth? 0.0004 cents.
So after the 50% increase, it became...
Hey, do you know how much shares you can buy? It's literally a penny stock.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fraction of a penny stock right now. Right. And if you believe that they can actually come back up, I mean, I'm not giving any investment advice here.
Disclaimer.
Yes. But $100 can buy a lot of stocks in Evergrande. Yeah. But of course, in certain markets, the trading of Evergrande has already is frozen. So you have to go and do your own homework on that. Right? But wow, if you invest in $1,000 like last week, this week you have 1,500. That's
true. And I think how this whole thing has affected Singapore property scene has also been, it actually affects the confidence in the China real estate market due to this whole saga.
Yeah.
And then we've been seeing a lot of Chinese money or Chinese rich actually, bringing their money into Singapore, whether it's through family offices, come here to buy real estate properties. Yep. Even with the 60% ABSD cooling measure, we still see Chinese buyers buying, and that's the confidence that they actually have in Singapore's real estate market, where for a lot of them, it's not to just profit from real estate, but more or so they see it as a safe haven for them to park their money here.
That's right. Yeah. And in addition to that, if you've seen some videos or reports of China's properties, a lot of reason why the rich don't have confidence in China's market. If you've seen the condos where they call them the tofu buildings, tofu construction.
What kind of breakdown is it?
Yeah, so basically what I saw was like the structural column, like a steel pole.
Yeah. The
guy could just grab onto the steel pole and just pull it out of the concrete like that. Then the concrete just crumbled away.
Yeah. So I think there are certain policies in place in Singapore that gives buyers the confidence to know that developers are watched so that such things will not happen.
Yes. If you ever been in the developers market, BCA, URA,
They're pretty strict on
Yes.
their policies. Yeah.
In fact, before the developer can get a sale license, right? When they apply for it, then BCA will come and check all their whether it's up to snuff, right? And if they don't, they get a no sale license.
Yeah. So they have to make sure that everything is in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so let's move on to the last news of the day.
Yeah, and this is not so much news as is something that's being
A little bit more fun.
Yeah, it is going viral on social media. And it's of this 23-year-old who bought her own condo, right? Despite everyone saying it's very expensive. Fair enough, the condo that she bought is not like one of the most expensive and it's not a new launch, right? But buying a condo at 23 years old is quite amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And she did this by actually like starting her own pastry home business at 17. What were you doing at 17?
I don't know,
I was
preparing for my A-levels.
I was clubbing at Sparks. I bet you don't know what Sparks is.
No, I don't.
Okay, I just revealed my age. Anyway, yeah, so just some history lah. Sparks was like a club that you can go. It was the only club in Singapore where you can go even if you're 16 years old.
But
they don't serve you alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes. Anyway, so she started her own pastry business at 17, right? And then she did a lot of scrimping and saving. And she had this goal in mind already, right? And she worked towards it. And she got it. She saved $200,000 for her first condo.
And I think at 23, where everybody is, I don't know, enjoying life, going for their holidays, she decided to, save up all this and to put it into a real estate property. I think because she also saw the value in it. And this is something that we see from a lot of clients who actually inquired through us, that they want to learn more about the real estate market. And we realized that a lot of them are very young, in their 20s, early 30s, and they have just decided, they want to understand more because they see the value in the Singapore real estate market and how with proper investments, they can actually, gain from it.
Yeah, and this was also actually one of her own investment philosophies, which is she doesn't invest in anything she doesn't understand.
Yes.
So she avoided online investments, she avoided cryptocurrencies, right? And only believed in like physical assets.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe we can give some of our younger viewers some ideas of how we can, start saving money early.
I think firstly is what your goal is. Because a goal then helps you to, I guess set aside your money and, set aside willingly because you know that ultimately you have something that you really want to achieve. And in this case, it will be to, have an early property ownership for some of younger owners.
Yeah. And I think the goal for financial independence is very important because I know I'm one of those people, right, who had the mindset that when I'm ready to buy a HDB, my parents will come and chip in to help. Which is something.
Typical.
Yeah.
Parents are your
piggy bank, ATM. Thanks, there, mom. Yeah. So, and actually, this is not typical in most other Western cultures, right? Which is why you see a lot of rental markets in America and UK being very popular because they are expected to be independent, yet their parents are not going to fork out the deposit for them.
In fact, I think at 18, you're probably chased out of the house where you have to look for your own part-time job, pay for your rent and food and everything. But in Singapore, we're very lucky, very fortunate. Most of us, stay with our parents rent-free up to the time when we actually get our first home. So this is something that we Singaporeans are very lucky at.
Yeah. So if don't have the expectation that your parents will help you, of course, if they can, it's a bonus. Yeah. But otherwise, aim for your own financial independence. Maybe you can give me one more money saving tip.
Okay, I think maybe you were then to build a strong foundation in knowledge of how you want to manage your finances. Because I think a lot of people, when the finances or the salary comes in, they don't really know how to manage it per se. Is it to like just save it all or whether it's to put into investments? I think financial literacy is also very important to know, what is my money going to become in the future? Is it going to sit in the bank and just depreciate as inflation happens, or am I going to do something with it? So it's important to keep yourself updated also, so that you know exactly what to do with your money.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to like one great book that I read. It was called What School Doesn't Teach You About Money. Right? You can find a lot of investment books out there, a lot of books about money, but a lot of them are for foreign markets. But this is like a local book. What School Doesn't Teach You About Money? And that's one of the first books. And it's it's a good read. So go and get it.
Non-sponsored post.
Yeah. Non-sponsored. I can't remember who's the writer, but if you hear this and you want to work with us,
sponsor us a book. Happy to work together.
I still have it. It's one of those books that I threw away a lot of books, but a lot of like this book I just didn't want to throw away. Yeah.
So you guys can check it out, if you're free.
Yeah. And maybe just one last one from me. I think it's about frugality. Growing up from 17 years old, especially heading into like 21, 22 years old, as you start working and you get your first salary, right?
Yep.
A lot of temptation.
Yes, like finally I got the ability to get this thing and I'm just going to go ahead with it.
Yeah. And then after buying one thing, you can't stop. You just buy the next thing and the next thing. I remember getting my first credit card. And wow, it was...
I think you have to find that balance in yourself, because a lot of people, they say, if not now, then when, right?
Yeah.
Like just YOLO. A lot of people say, YOLO.
Yeah.
But I think you have to find a balance yourself, ultimately.
Correct. I mean, you don't have to live miserably, but I think be more aware of what you need and what you want. And don't buy things just to impress other people. Yeah.
Okay, I think we've come to the end of this week's News Dash. We hope you enjoyed it. If you do want to join us for our exclusive Telegram chat, just leave the QR code down here. This is Grace.
This is Lucas.
And we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.